Thank you, and a very good afternoon to all. Excellency Ambassador Joseph Saku, Commission for Rural Economy and Agriculture of African Union Commission, my dear friend, representatives from member countries of the African Union and regional bodies, my dear colleague and friend Kundavi, development partners, representatives from the private sector, civil society, and all partners represented in this very important event. Excellencies, colleagues, friends, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, it is an honor to deliver the keynote address with my colleague and friend Kundavi at this first dialogue of Cultivated Africa on galvanizing partnership for promoting resilient agriculture and food systems in Africa in the shadow of the COVID-19 pandemic, organized by our esteemed partner, the African Union. And I would like to congratulate Ambassador Saku for her vision and leadership in organizing this dialogue. Excellencies, today the world, and Africa in particular, faces immense challenge to food security, nutrition, and livelihood. In 2019, nearly 690 million people went hungry. Of these, Africa accounted for 250 million hungry, the majority, 235, in sub-Saharan Africa. According to the FAO 2020 State of Food Security and Nutrition in the World, the COVID-19 pandemic is intensifying the vulnerabilities and insufficiency of our global food system. And as many as 132 million more people might be added to the ranks of hungry by end of the year. The outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic exposed the vulnerabilities of already stressed agri-food systems in Africa and further jeopardized efforts made towards sustainable livelihoods. Among rural population, women, youth, the disabled, the aged and indigenous people have been the hardest hit. While the impact of the pandemic will vary from country to country, recovery will be slow and uncertain, increasing poverty and inequalities at a global and regional scale, and making achievements of the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030 even more doubting, let alone the Malawi commitment to achieving zero hunger by 2025. And this is the reason why I think those dialogues are important to help us to bring solutions to the decision makers. And as also my colleague just said, how we can bring science to bringing innovative solutions for the challenge we are facing. Ladies and gentlemen, the challenge stemming from the pandemic are multidimensional and need a coordinated response. Recovery requires a food system transformation approach along the whole value chain, multi-stakeholder engagement, leveraging private sector resources, and mobilizing external resources through innovative financing mechanisms. We also need science and research. To do so, we must galvanize partnerships, the focus of this dialogue. For FAO, partnerships are key. Our long-standing partnership with the African Union Commission, its member, their regional economic communities, as well as civil society and the private sector, covers a wide range of activities in Africa to achieve sustainable agriculture development and food and nutrition security for all. FAO, as it has already mentioned by the Commissioner, is working with its key partners within the framework of African Union Commission FAO Task Force on the impacts of food security and nutrition in Africa, established by the African Union Meeting on African Ministers of Agriculture, convened at the start of the pandemic, that also resulted in a ministerial declaration to act on priority action. It was a very important event to bring the policymakers together. Since then, regular meetings with key players and partners have focused on mitigating the vulnerabilities of already stressed agri-food systems in Africa and building more resilient, sustainable livelihoods. In July, a tripartite ministerial meeting, we agreed that we couldn't have only ministers of agriculture. We needed to bring trade and finance. And they adopted a declaration calling on governments and partners to commit adequate resources to building greater productive capacity in agriculture through allocation of new resources and repurposing existing public resources, and to develop action plans for implementation. In this regard, FAO response goes beyond humanitarian to also incorporate resilience programs that work across the humanitarian development peace nexus to build food systems post-COVID-19 plans. Under our global humanitarian response, FAO has appealed for 428 million to cover the needs of 24 countries, 24 in Africa. And so far, we have reached 11.8 million people in African countries. We must continue fostering and leveraging strategic partnerships for holistic, integrated, and coordinated action across agriculture, health, trade, industry, infrastructure, energy, environment, and social sectors. And in this regard, FAO launched an umbrella program we call COVID-19 Response and Recovery Program, which covers 7 main priority areas with this integrated approach. And we start by safeguarding livelihoods, encouraging economic inclusion and social protection, boosting smallholder resilience, preventing the next zoonotic pandemic by strengthening the One Health approach, because it's important that we respond to the pandemic, but it's also maybe more important now that we work together to prevent the next pandemic to arise. Supporting trade and food safety standards, transforming food systems and data for decision making. Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, friends, the survival of our food system and livelihoods depends on the roles we each play. Producing food, as it already has been said by Kundavi, is not enough. Making agri-food systems sustainable, resilient, and inclusive, where healthy diets are accessible and affordable for all, is paramount to building back better from COVID-19. We all have a vital role to play to nurture an enabling environment that will strengthen resilience and transform our food systems in order to promote food security and nutrition in Africa. Today, more than ever, we must all work together to ensure that nobody is left behind. We can count on FAO moving this agenda forward. Thank you, Commissioner Sacco, again for inviting us, for your continued support in our joint activities. I wish you a fruitful discussion and thank you for your attention.